Alright, hang on. Let me turn my music down. I know it gets loud. Alright, so I have water bottle. I have coffee. Um, I didn't put my face. My face isn't showing up. Weird. That's fine, you guys don't really need to see it. Because my sleepy medication, took me out for a little bit longer than I had planned. Yeah, that knocked me out for way longer than I'd hoped. I had trouble falling asleep, and then, it was like, oh, you have trouble falling asleep? Then I guess you're just gonna have a really hard time waking up. Hello, Anonymous. Today we are skipping the roulette because I already know what I'm gonna do. We are gonna have more, Constantine. We're gonna have more Constantine art today. And today is the first day of WHUMPTOBER, so I should probably get to posting. It had honestly completely skipped my mind. I thought yesterday was October 1st, and then I panicked, and then it wasn't, and it's... I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a little bit scatterbrained today. Honestly, not for any other reason than my anxiety's really been getting to me lately. And so I took some hydroxyzine yesterday, which is fine, but the problem is, with antihistamines, I mean, if you've ever taken Benadryl, you know what I'm talking about, like that post-Benadryl haze of like, what was I doing? Well, what is breathing? Why am I here? Because, you know, you can't cough when you are unconscious. Actually, you can, but it won't wake you up. But in my case, you can't fret over the state of the world while you're trying to sleep. Fun fact, large doses of antihistamine can, in fact, treat anxiety. But you have to be very careful, or you'll end up like me, which is almost missing your stream because you're very sleepy. Let's see. I do need a reference. I'm tempted to use a 3D... I'm tempted to use a 3D model. And you know what? I think I'm gonna use a 3D model. Because we want this to be kind of fast. Oops. Some of my WHUMPTOBER prompts are going to be a bit more intricate than others. So let's use this for Connie. And honestly, the only thing I really need to do, Connie is not this skinny by any means. Nate might be, but Connie's not. So let's see here. I need to give him the pose that I just downloaded, which was this one. And this is really just going to be a reference. Like that. Unfortunately, as far as October goes, this is the start of the holiday season, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm not super fond of holidays. My day is honestly just getting started. Like, I just had breakfast. I woke up super late thanks to that whole diatribe about my medication. I didn't get up till really late. Like around 10:30. So my day's really just starting. My husband does make the better coffee, though. I will say that. Every time I try to make coffee, I feel like it comes out like military-grade black coffee. That might be an occupational hazard. I will say it, but I was a military brat for most of my life. So I'm used to like super dank, heartburn-inducing coffee. How was your day, Anonymous? Alright, the devil is in the details with this one. So, let's see. I'm only really using this as a guideline, so I can kind of do whatever the hell I want in this instance. You know, every time I draw Connie, I'm drawing a witch for October. Cute! Every time I draw Connie, I have one big issue with him, and that is where to put his man boobs. Because he is a big guy. My initial design for Connie, he was not a big dude. My initial design for Connie was basically Bruce Lee. Is that he was kind of short to everyone's... He would be kind of short, a little unremarkable looking, but actually quite spectacular once he gets down to work. But then I decided that it would be better for him to be a bigger guy. And he was still kind of short, but now I'm thinking he's no longer going to be short. I don't know. I'll make up my mind one day. So, like, muscle lanky. Yeah, originally. No, actually, originally he wasn't even lanky. He was just a small guy. Like, muscular, but short. I mean, Bruce Lee was 5'8", I believe, and Connie was originally supposed to be 5'4". But since this is kind of a mafia-inspired story, a lot of the guys in the mafia were like bigger dudes, except maybe like Carlo Gambino, who was known for being like kind of short and skinny. So his shoulders need to be bigger. Yeah, his shoulders are a lot bigger, actually. Connie's a strong guy. And also, I feel like as far as characters that get represented in certain stories, I feel like there aren't enough, like, big guys anymore. You know, recently my mind went to Cowboy Bebop, as specifically how Spike looks. Spike has muscle, but he's still pretty lanky. Yeah, and Spike, I believe, in the... Actually, let me double check. Spike Spiegel is supposed to be... I want to say he's supposed to be 6 feet tall. Spike Spiegel... Height... Yeah, he's supposed to be 6'1". He would be much taller than the original. No, but this version of Connie is supposed to be about 5'11". Maybe even 6 feet tall. Now, Nate is still taller than him. But for the most part, I think I do want my initial aim for Connie was for him to be kind of unremarkable, but there are a couple of things I want him that I do want to be like distinctive for him. I don't want him to be exceptional like Nate, but I think I want there to be certain things that are special about him. Because his reputation still does precede him in very, very many ways. Okay, that sketch should be done with. Is he fat enough? I don't think so. I think that's good. I think now he is large enough. Also, I like your sketch so far. Thank you. That 3D, do you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the animated one? I like it, but I never got a chance to watch it that much as a kid. I only finished it as an adult. And I still think it's a pretty comprehensive... comprehensive show. The problem is, I don't have a lot of nostalgia associated with it, because I wasn't able to watch the show until I finished college. I didn't grow up with any I only grew up with basic cable. I believe when we had Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network very briefly when I was a kid. And it was always at my aunt's house. But aside from that, we really didn't get, like, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon until I was, like, in high school. So, I learned how to pirate stuff at a very early age, but at that point, I only really cared about, anime. And people, like, this is gonna be a bit of a rant, but I don't think people realize how far, like, I want to say, like, the representation of anime has come, even in Japan, because, I don't know, I just feel like there's the exposure of it is a lot better all over the world, not just in the United States. That's just because I have a D&D campaign and I've always wanted to play it. I mean, go for it. You'd probably just have to be really careful setting up the rules. Y'all know me. Y'all know I love D&D, so... I haven't played it in a while, though. It's always... I will say, when it comes to, like, planning D&D... When it comes to planning D&D sessions, I mean, scheduling will always be a pain in the ass. I forgot to record the time-lapse. Record time-lapse, yep. Scheduling will always be kind of a pain in the ass when it comes to, what's the word I'm looking for? When it comes to D&D. But the problem, you know, if people want to hang out, they will. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, we do have our difficulties setting up sessions, but I feel like there are some people who just genuinely don't want to hang out with their friends when they talk about how hard it is to set up dates. But then again, we are very fortunate. Maybe I'm just being hasty. I'm gonna try something. Maybe this... I don't know. Yeah, there seems to be a big culture on people who are really excited when people cancel plans, but then they get sad when nobody wants to hang out. Like, I get being an introvert. I do. I am an introvert. I understand that there are some times where you just don't want to hang out with people. I get that too. There's sometimes where you need your space, sometimes when you gotta get stuff done. But there seems to be this huge culture of people just not wanting to hang out with their friends and then getting really sad that they can't seem to maintain friendships. You know what I mean? And like, friendships are hard. You gotta spend time with people if you wanna keep them. That's not easy. Especially as an adult. As a matter of fact, it's a bit of a work in progress. It took me months, almost a whole year to make friends when I moved here. Nope. I'm really bad at that. Let's take care of his jawline first. I'm gonna see where you're coming from. Yeah, I don't know. I'm coming from a place where, especially in college, I would have people just randomly cancel plans on me all the time. And it felt, I don't know, it felt kind of shitty, you know? It really did. And it's like, oh, you blew me off because you didn't want to go anywhere with me. Or because you didn't want to go anywhere. Like, I get that. I get that you're tired, but you couldn't just tell me that. So, I don't know. I'm coming from a different sort of perspective on that. Maybe I shouldn't be so hasty to judge. Oh! Whoa! Okay, let's get rid of that strand of hair. And fix those eyes. Because, good God. Yikes. Okay. But, you know, just keep in mind that if you're tired, and, you know, and you need some time alone, and if your friends are cool, they'll understand that. You don't need to make up anything. Now, if they're not cool, then, you know. Alright, I think that's better. I might draw Ichabod for the Halloween season. As in Crane? It used to be one of my favorite stories growing up. That might be why I like skulls now. Because, say it with me, skulls are a year-round decoration. As a matter of fact, my husband bought me a pink fuzzy skull yesterday. Maybe one day I should show you guys all the skulls that I've collected. A lot of them are gifts from my husband, actually. I have one that's a gift from my sister-in-law. Oh, speaking of Avatar The Last Airbender, my husband gave me a little Appa plushie for when I finish the series. It's on my bookshelf. But yeah, maybe I should just show you guys all of my my skeletons that I have. A lot of them are all plastic resin skulls because, you would actually be really surprised at how prolific and illegal the bone trade in the United States is. Because a lot of times, it's super fucking illegal. Actually, no. Connie's got a thick neck. Yeah, I guess... Yeah, it is. And I tend to collect things that, that when I get gifts, I always collect them. But yeah, a lot of like the little knickknacks I have are a lot of gifts for when my husband and I were first dating. Because, I think he could tell that I have never actually been able to, like, decorate my own space before. Because, you know, back when I was a kid, I was always moving. And so, while my parents tried to encourage me to, you know, really, you know, try to make a space my own, even when I shared a room with my kid sister, you know, as a kid, you're like, what's the point? We're gonna still be moving. So I think he could tell that I never really got a chance to decorate a space of my own. So he just started getting me little knickknacks, which was very, very sweet. It was one of the things that I was very surprised about. Because I tell you, one of the things that's different about my family is that we don't do a lot of gifts. For birthdays and Christmas, maybe. But other than that, we don't do a lot of gifts. We do tons of food now. Lots of food. Not a lot of gifts. So receiving gifts I was very new at. And giving gifts I was also very new at. I'm getting better at that part. I still think he's not big enough. I feel like his torso isn't long enough. Let's go back to the 3D model. I need to see something. Because the waistline is supposed to be here, so let's drop it actually a little bit. And then let's... Yeah. Yeah. He's so nice. I love him so much. I think what really impressed me about him when we first became friends, because we were friends for several months before we started dating. One of the things that really impressed me was that he likes people. He likes helping people. He likes being there for him. He likes being there for them, and in turn, they love being there for him. He's really a personality that just, I don't know, he's so open and genuinely good and kind and sweet and just so loving and genuine. There'll be times where, like, especially if I'm hormonal, he'll do something really sweet and it will bring me to literal tears. Especially if I'm hormonal. Oh, God. Sorry, I'm gushing. I'm in love. I'm in love. That's really the long and short of it. I'm in love. I actually bought a book to write I actually bought a little notebook so I could write our vows in it for our wedding, which is about a year away. More than a year away at this point. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, shit. Yeah, I messed up. Oh, wait, well, hang on. Let me finish doing the hand, and then I'll go back. I don't mind if you gush. Yeah, I love my people, even the people I don't talk to anymore. Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of my people, there's several of my people have unfortunately been affected by Hurricane Helene. As a matter of fact, I had a friend that I couldn't get in touch with for several days afterwards. They're fine, thank God, but, you know, right now they've got no running water. Nope, actually, I think I was fine. I think I was fine. Yeah. I think I'm freaking out over nothing. I think that's okay. Yeah, no, I'm freaking out over nothing, it's fine. I hope everyone's okay. As far as my friends and loved ones, they are okay, yes. There are a lot of people who aren't, unfortunately. But, as far as I know, they are getting help and assistance. My parents lived in the path. Fortunately, they were traveling at the time. And my childhood home has received some damage. But, because they live so close to the coast, they usually have some, like, quick building materials to take care of it. There has never been any catastrophic damage. And hopefully there never will be. Okay. Trying to figure some things out on this picture. One, I think Connie's neck is too long. And I think his head is too small compared to his hand. See, the thing about using the 3D, at least for me, is you can never... The thing about using the 3D models, at least for me, is that... I don't know, I don't like how they're shaped. That's really the long and short of it. I don't like how they're shaped. I know that sounds weird, but... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I am a bit scatterbrained. Let me get some water in me. I haven't had any water. Maybe I'll make more sense when I do that. But yeah, they live really close to the coast, so they usually have some quick building materials to cover up any damage until there's a permanent fix. And honestly, about 85% of the time, my dad can usually fix it on his own. But I don't want him doing that because he's in his 60s. Spooky season, if I can ask, what's the scariest Zelda boss? The Dead Hand. The Dead Hand is not even a whole boss. The Dead Hand is actually kind of a mini boss, but the Dead Hand is very creepy, mostly because it can drag you underground and eat you. I mean, the Gloom Hands are a close second, but I don't think anything in the Breath of the Wild series of Zelda is at all as scary as the Dead Hand. Well, the reason why the Dead Hand is so scary is because of the effect it had on us when we were children. Because up until then, Zelda had its moments, but it was never outright horrifying. Like, okay, the re-dead zombies were pretty scary, especially when they screamed. That's fine. but the Dead Hand was really the only enemy that was scary and gunning for you the entire time. Or, like, actually made you helpless, because it was the only time in the game you were actually physically helpless. Even against the Redeads, because the Redeads were slow. Which one freaks you out? Trying to decide what I want Connie to be wearing in this instance. I think I want him wearing his sweater. Hang on. Let's get rid of the sketch. Let me do a little experiment. Bongo Bongo. Yeah, Bongo Bongo's from the same saga. I'd say Bongo Bongo, yeah, because it has that, like, it has, like, that weird presence, because you can always hear it. I'd say Bongo Bongo freaked me out as a kid. Majora really freaked me out as a kid. Majora's Mask actually gave me, like, my first existential crisis as a child. No, you know what? There's no reason for Connie to have on his jacket right now. But, like, the temples of the dead are always, like, the creepiest part. Are always the creepiest part of any Zelda game. The Shadow Temple, the Earth Temple, the Desert Temple in Twilight Princess. Majora is such a good, but good god, the game is just so depressing. Yeah. You know what? I hate doing this, but I think I'm just gonna have Connie wearing a t-shirt. Because I'm getting frustrated. Let me look at something here. Okay, for one, Connie's shoulders are too long, so, whoops. So, let's fix that. Breath of the Wild, who's your favorite champion? Ooh, that's a hard one. Probably Mipha. I like Mipha. She's cute. Actually, no. The Goron. I like the Goron the best. I like Mipha, but I like the Goron the best. Even though his name completely escapes me right now. I keep wanting to say Darwin. I know his name's not Darwin. No one in Zelda is named Darwin. His name's not Dwalin either. That's the name of a dwarf from Lord of the Rings. I don't know why his name escapes me at the moment. I'm tired. Let's see. Actually, I was trying to play Breath of the Wild last night, but I ended up getting too sleepy. I should have started to play it before I took my medicine, but I didn't do that. I think my favorite is Rivali. I do love me a good character that's cocky because they have a reason to be. Like, they're cocky because they're really good at what they do. Also, you want to hear something sad? So, if you listen to the themes of the champions, especially during the boss battles, you'll hear Daruk, thank you. You'll hear a rhythm that goes dut 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 dut. Now, I heard this in a video, but I've also heard it myself. I've observed it myself. Dot dot dash dash dot dot, or dot 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 dash dash dot dot dot. That is the sign. That is the universal sign for an SOS. Which, I mean, it means imminent help. Destruction is imminent, please help. And you hear it in every single champion's theme, or boss theme. And you hear it at different times. However, in Rivali's theme, in Windblight, you don't hear it until the very last minute. So do with that what you will. Okay. I think Connie looks okay now. Ah, that's not the brush I wanted to use. Yeah, told you. But that is not the first time that has been used in the Zelda series. You can also hear it in A Link to the Past. And you can also hear it in Link's Awakening. Almost as disturbing as the Blender scene. Oh god. I've never played Splatoon. But, you can also hear it in A Link to the Past, where it underscores a lot. It underscores a lot of the SOS, especially in the remake, underscores a lot of the soundtrack. Just to remind you that at the end of the day, Link is still lost at sea. Alright. You know, let me concentrate on this before I do anything with the hair. Yeah, I meant to turn on some music for me, because the music that is playing for you is not playing for me. Actually, there is something that I'm looking for specifically. I had the joy of discovering the song. I had the joy of discovering the song Brutus yesterday. I know it's famous on like TikTok and stuff, but I had never really heard it myself. I never really bothered. But I had the opportunity to find out about it yesterday, and I'm all about it. And I am looking for a particular anger phase. From an animatic of this show that I've watched. Okay. Whoop. Brutus would be a perfect theme song for Nate, super honestly. Do you have other original characters you've made? Tons. Super honestly. A lot. When I was a kid, I found out that a lot of my favorite shows lacked black characters, so I just made them. But I was just never good enough at drawing, to really put it into words until now. Okay, now this is bothering me because now he looks cross-eyed. I want one eye to be higher than the other. Maybe if I... This is... Actually, I think that's exactly the one I was looking at. No, the one I was looking at was Mime. Mime was the one I was looking at. But yes, I see the one by Lazy Yule. Is that you? Is that you? Let's see. Figure out this problem before it becomes a problem. Okay, that looks better, but the one eye... I want one eye to be more open than the other, not bigger or smaller. Maybe if I just, like that. Zoom back out. I think that'll do. I say, uncertainly, as I shift around. I just like the art. No, it's not me. I just like the art. I didn't believe there's a zoo bed in mine. Listen. Regardless of whose OCs are better and whether you think someone's better, don't worry about that. Your characters are yours. That's one thing I have learned by force. Your characters are yours. And that alone makes them good enough. Balls. Give me just a second. I'm having a lot of trouble. Now I see the problem. God, okay. And then... every piece I draw of Connie, he is always looking up somehow. Mostly because his head is always down. Hang on, I have to look up another reference for Connie's nose again because he's very difficult to draw from the front. Okay. Stop being so dramatic. Let's see. My mouth hurts. It's probably my tooth acting up again. I prefer to draw Connie from the side or from 3/4. Because then his nose isn't so difficult to draw. He has a Roman nose that's been broken 3 times, so... Mouth. Okay. Oh, speaking of coloring, I found out a new way to render hair, and I'm very excited to do that for this one. Hang on. Finger lines. Okay. Alright, I think I figured it out. Finally. Sorry, I kind of had to go dark on that for a minute. Gave me both Devil May Cry. Oh, I used to love the Devil May Cry games. Fun fact, so I came from kind of a religious household growing up. And, my mom, although she usually let us play games, she wasn't super keen on us playing a game called Devil May Cry. So what I would do is I would go to my friend's house. I'd go to my friend Charlene's house, and we would play Devil May Cry on her PlayStation. But you see, the thing is, I love my mama, and so I would feel super guilty about it, because I wasn't guilty that I was playing the game. I felt guilty that I was lying to her. And so I remember we were going to Blockbuster to rent the game, and I was I remember talking to the Blockbuster clerk, because he knew us by that point. He knew that these two little girls were coming in, getting Devil May Cry, and they were gonna play the game. And, you know, he would ask us, you know, how far we've gotten in the game and stuff like that, and then he asked me, and I was like, I'm not sure I want to play it anymore. And he was like, oh, why not? It's so good. And he was like, you're really enjoying it, aren't you? I was like, yeah. But I promise, but my mom doesn't know that I'm playing it like an adult game, and she doesn't like the game every time she sees it on TV. And he was like, listen, do you think, and he was like, listen, do you think that, do you think that she would be, like, irreparably mad at you if she found out you were playing the game? Or would she, still be okay with it? She wouldn't, like... I think he was trying to see, like, if I was coming from a bad situation, which I wasn't, and I was like, no, I don't think she'll be that mad. I just don't want to lie to her like that. And so that day, like, when I came back from the sleepover, I still played the game. Noted. I still played the game, but when I came back from the sleepover, I was like, Shalisa and I have been playing Devil May Cry. And my mom was like, oh! Okay. Oh. Well, if her mom lets her play it. But you can't play it here. And I was like, oh! Okay. So, you're okay with it? And she was like, I guess. And so, from then on, she just sort of moved on. She didn't really harp on it anymore. I mean, honestly, the same thing happened with the franchise that shall not be named. Like, my mom would take a pretty strict stance on it, see that everyone else is doing it, and she'd be like, well, as long as you're not hurting anybody. I think my mom was just really glad that I had friends. So, she let me continue to play the game. The only game that I was absolutely never allowed to play was Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I'll be honest, my mom didn't really understand the game. She just heard the word devil in it, and was like, clearly this is bad. But, I mean... I never finished Gurren Lagann. So, I don't know what the whole thing is about it. Some people take a pretty big stance on it. I don't really care. Because I never really finished it. I never really cared to be honest. I'm not big on the Studio Trigger. I'm not sure why. I liked Promare okay. And a lot of people like Dungeon Meshi, but Dungeon Meshi is very, very atypical for Studio Trigger. It's going to be a TV show of it soon. There was already. There was an animated show of Devil May Cry that was on Netflix, like... I want to say almost 10 years ago at this point. Kind of hard to believe Netflix has been around for 10 years, but it's been around for longer, super honestly. I miss those DVD deliveries. I'm telling you, I really do. I miss DVDs, super honestly. I miss just being able to get a movie. Like, that is something that you don't get these days, where you can, somewhere where you can just buy or own a movie. You have to go to one streaming service or another, or go to video on demand. You can't just go out and get a movie anymore. That's very upsetting to me. And people are always like, why are you rooting around in the DVD bins at thrift stores? Because I need a movie! Kill la Kill was also good. Premiere is kind of fine. You could just watch Fire Force and get the same plot, just better. I am not crazy fond of the mangaka of Fire Force and Soul Eater. Not for any particular reason of who they are as a person. It's just... there are some trends in their art that I am not a super huge fan of. That's really it. Like, I never finished Soul Eater. Which is a shame, because it was extremely... Is it the fan service? The fan service in Soul Eater, in the anime, is not even a quarter as bad as the fan service that is in the manga. The fan service in the manga is so distracting. Like, honestly, given the right circumstances, I don't care about fan service. But when it becomes distracting, I start giving a shit. And when I tell you that the Soul Eater manga is distracting, like, the fan service is distractingly bad, it's bad. Both shows are great, but yeah, it's just like, the manga is worse. As far as the fan service goes, the manga is a lot worse. Because pretty much every killing shot that Maka lands, or any big move that Maka lands, there is a panty shot for every scene. Like I said, I don't mind fan service until it gets distracting. Like, a lot of the fan service in Bleach wasn't very gratuitous. Now, I also am very biased because I love Bleach, but... Okay. Luckily, these are leather gloves, so I don't have to be that... Oh, shit balls! I forgot. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just have to do it myself. I forgot to download the leather gradient tool. That is my bad. I meant to do that, and then it completely skipped my mind. Yeah, it's just, once again, I don't care until it gets distracting. Because then it's like, why are we here? That's why I'm not a huge fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, because Jujutsu Kaisen has a ton of fan service, even if it's not the girls. Like, it's still fan service. All the glamour shots of Nanami, it's still fan service. Also, I just eventually fell out of love with Jujutsu Kaisen. I am not a huge fan of Game of Thrones-like stories. But if no one's seen it, then I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, all of Twitter's pretty much spoiled it because they have the subtlety of a bat to the face, but, you know. Hey, Firefly, what's up? Like I said, I liked it for a while because it was very reminiscent of Bleach, and like I said before, I love Bleach. But, like, I don't know. Not a big fan of of how it turned out. But then again, I have said it time and time again, I'm pretty ambivalent on shonen these days. I prefer seinen or josei. Because I'm an adult, and I'm gonna read comic books about adults, damn it. Ah. Aim for Thunderbolt Fantasy. What is Thunderbolt Fantasy? Is that an anime? You know, I am looking at this piece of art, and Constantine literally looks like he's about to give a proctology exam. I don't know if I like this pose. Oh, now I know what you're talking about, Firefly. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, thank you for the reminder. You know, I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna stick with it. But this really looks like he is about to give somebody the worst proctology exam known to man. Oh, you know what? I never finished telling this story. My husband bought these nifty little cappuccino candies. And they are so tasty. Thunderbolt Fantasy is a, if I recall correctly, now correct me if I'm wrong, Firefly, it is a Chinese Jianjia televised puppet show, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I thought. I never watched it myself because we got rid of Netflix, but I do know what it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the puppetry is, like, you wouldn't know by looking at it. Like, a lot of shows that have puppetry are normally reserved for children, but as far as I know, it's like some pretty intricate stuff. As a matter of fact, Dragon Con has a pretty dedicated, like, puppetry track. Has a pretty dedicated puppetry track, and a puppetry competition every year. And a lot of it is some, like, really intricate and honestly deeply complex, like deeply complex narrative stuff. I've got a friend who does the Puppet Bash every year, and I don't, because some of those puppets have straight up given me nightmares before. And seeing as how I spend a ton of time under the influence at DragonCon, it is best for me not to attend so I can be able to sleep that night. Now, be honest with me. Is Connie's head too big? Yes. Connie's head is too big. Low-key waiting for the Japanese of a Filipino-produced live-action movie of Volt, because Toei is promoting it. See, Toei is promoting a ton of Japanese dubbed animation projects that were produced outside of Japan, because they're already in the hot seat for how they treat their animators and their distributors. I made Connie's head bigger before, but it's gonna be smaller now, because it can't look that big. It was the hair. It was the hair. There. Now it's my boy with a thick neck. You know what bothers me? Is that every time I draw him, when I get to this stage, he looks like Aaron Hansen. And it bothers me so much. Apologies? Apologies for what, Firefly? You know what would help with this pose? Putting on another glove. And also, yeah, I think this will help. Give him some My Chemical Romance gloves. Hang on, guys. Was overworked despite having a short schedule for work. Yes. I believe they said they were having her working like 15-hour days, if I recall correctly. Don't quote me on that, though. Ooh, I didn't know that part, Firefly. Yeah, if I give him fingerless gloves, he'll look a lot less like he's about to, tell you to bend over and cough. Also worked at night, and you're not supposed to... Yeah. Yeah, work culture, honestly, everywhere in the world has gotten, like, way out of control. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I used to work as a salesperson at a popular food purveyor. And I used to have this issue where I'd be like, oh, I can't drink coffee because I get heart palpitations and I can't sleep. And I thought that it was because of my anxiety. And I do have anxiety. But when I quit that job, I found out that it wasn't the coffee. It was my job. It was my job that was giving me heart palpitations. Honestly, tracing hands is really the only thing I use this for these days. Unless I just need a loose reference. Because we're just going to be tracing this dude's fingers. Too anonymous. I am too. Like, working in a professional kitchen isn't easy. I think I still would have preferred it to whatever they were doing where I was working earlier. Even though I can't really do it anymore. Actually, that can stay. Didn't mean to do that. Are there any more details I need to add before I start coloring this? This would be Connie spoiling for a fight, so I don't suppose... I like summer. I have an issue with cold weather. It keeps me from moving the way I would like. I don't mind fall so much. It's just the herald of holiday season, and I'm not a fan of holidays. Although I will give you that. This summer has been incomprehensibly humid. Especially for where I live in this state. It is very, very humid. Have you watched Over the Garden Wall? I watched Over the Garden Wall with my husband. It was the first time I'd seen it. It's cool. Reminded me a lot of, Adventure Time. But, like I said before, where a lot of people have, nostalgia for that kind of thing, I do not. Because it was only stuff I caught up with recently. Like, I was never able to finish Avatar: The Last Airbender until after Legend of Korra came out. Hang on, I need to see something here. That is what I thought. That's what's bothering me. His collar's too low. I normally have him wearing a tank top or an A shirt, but his collar's supposed to be up here. I have a very good friend who is really into Over the Garden Wall. She cosplayed the character that has scissors. And I don't remember who that is. But she has scissors. And my husband helped her make a holster to hold them so she didn't have to get piece tied during the convention. Because sometimes, if you have a weapon that's, say, large scissors or just scissors in general, a convention can ask you to tie those scissors together so you don't stab anyone. And so they know that you won't stab anyone. But she made a holster for hers. Although she still had to get it tied as like a weapon. She didn't have to like piece tie it together. Better. Adelaide of the Pastors. detail after, because that's a lot to deal with right now. Actually, to be honest, this side of his nose should be deeper than the other. This is super cool. Yeah. She, this year, I believe she did Fallon from Dungeon Meshi. Why she did that in 90-degree heat, I couldn't tell you, but, you know. Whatever floats your boat, finds your lost remote, all that good stuff. Now, just a heads up, if I have to get up very suddenly, or do something else really quick, husband is checking on the roof for a leak when the hurricane blew through. It is a leak that's right up above my office, and he's going to go check on that. So every time he goes up on the roof, he always tells me to keep my phone on. So if you guys hear it go off, I will pause stream or end stream, but hopefully there will be no incidents. Usually there isn't. Normally he's very careful when he has to get up on the roof. Let me clean up this sketch. Unfortunately, the hurricane was rough on everyone, but especially people in Western North Carolina. It's like, even though they knew what would happen and prepared for it, it was still so bad, you know? Unfortunately, there's a Hurricane Isaiah brewing right about now. But I don't think it might not reach any land. That's what they're saying. They're saying that it's out there, but it might not reach any land. As long as you're safe. Yep, always. Having lived by the beach for most of my teenage life, I know how to deal with that, unfortunately. It's not a good thing, but it is still a thing. Okay. There are lots of things I want to do with this. One of those things being turning this sketch a different color. But I'm going to try my best. Let's try to color this. Let's give him his dark green shirt. sure if I like using red line art. I'm really, really not. Who's your favorite Dungeon Meshi character? Senshi. It is Senshi. It will always be Senshi. Usually, when it comes to characters that I like, give me the one that can cook. I'm not sure if I can get used to it. Well, we'll see. I do like how menacing Connie looks right now. I guess mine is Chilchuck. I like Chilchuck. Chilchuck reminds me of one of our D&D friends. Not in the sense that he's short, but in a sense that everyone thinks that he's a lot younger than he is because of the way he looks. It's mostly the way he dresses. I think if we put him in a suit, he would melt. When my sister-in-law asked him to be in the wedding, the first question he is, I have to wear a suit, don't I? It's like, yes. Yes, you do, actually. Yes, you do. Marcel's like you, kind of like you act kind of like her. Marcel has a lot of great qualities, but early in the season, a lot of them aren't on display. But yeah, I'd probably take offense to that too. Not gonna lie. I don't blame you for being like, excuse me, no. If anything, I'm more like Fallon. just a little bit out there, a little bit weird. To be honest, I'm probably like Laios the most, I'd say. I've got some very weird interests, and they do freak some people out, and sometimes I can be very passionate about them when it is neither the time nor place. Which, I get. Everything has their time and place. I like him because he's a rogue, and I've always wanted to play a rogue. We fill out a character sheet for me, the Goblin Rogue. Yeah, the playing a rogue is super fun. That was actually one of the first classes I played. In my first D&D game. I play a barbarian now. But I like my barbarian. He is way too young to be fighting. He's a 17-year-old. I'll be honest with you, my barbarian at the moment is honestly Breath of the Wild Link, but with red hair. He's Breath of the Wild Link, but ginger. He's a bit of an amnesiac, a ranger, he can cook, his feat is chef. So yeah, he's not entirely like Link because he's not a ranger, he does not do ranged weapons. I'm not a huge fan of bards, or playing bards. I'm not a huge fan of playing bards. Let's put it that way. I'm not a fan. I like to specialize in something when I'm playing D&D. I'm not a jack of all trades kind of person. I like to specialize in something. My husband loves bards, though. He loves to play bards. In any session he doesn't DM, he usually plays a bard. I have an idea for a bard who's kind of shy, but when they get their instrument, their 8 or 3 kid comes out. Well, you know, there are performance checks for that. It would be up to your DM to gauge what gives you advantage and disadvantage on, like, does your character have advantage on charisma when they have their instrument out? Because of how much security it gives them, or when they can't play, do they have disadvantage? That is kind of how my husband handles disabled characters. He always has advantage or disadvantage depending on what mobility aid a character is using, or if the character has bad eyesight. Like, for instance, I had a character named Elijah who was an older gentleman, and he always, because of his age, he had advantage on certain wisdom checks. But when it came to remembering things, or when it came to seeing things from far off, because he was also a drow, I would get disadvantage on certain things. And my drow did have pretty bad eyesight, so there were some times where I couldn't roll a d20. I would have to roll a d12 or a d10. So there are a lot of people who, like, make a big fuss about, like, where, like, you know, oh, you can't have wheelchairs in D&D and all this stuff. If your DM is a good DM, you can do anything. You can do anything. And my husband is a fantastic DM. He DMs almost all of our friend group's games. It reminds me, I had to get back to Person Rock. Hestu. You're talking about Hestu? I don't know. Once again, I tried to play Breath of the Wild last night and I fell asleep. And then it took me forever to fall back asleep once I realized what had happened. Nope, too dark. Connie's eyes are not all white. Fun fact, Connie rarely smiles because he smokes, and he knows his teeth look yellow. And he is just a wee bit self-conscious about it. Now, is he self-conscious enough to stop smoking? Probably not. It's good to have it on hand. Yeah. Also, psst, don't forget to like the stream if you're here and in chat. I don't know if you hear the lumps and bumps, but that is my husband on the roof. I'm just not sure how I feel about the red line art. What do y'all think? I'm not sure if I like the red line art. Like, I get the appeal. I do. I don't know. I really don't know. Let me try something real quick. Black line is better. Uh-oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not something you need to apologize for. I asked for your opinion. I'm gonna try something real quick, though. Edit. Oh, whoops. I fucked that up. Let's try this again. There we go. Oh, wait, no, wrong. See, that looks a little bit better. Don't do that. I'm gonna figure this out. Hang on, give me a minute. Because what I can do is put a, get rid of this, a gradient here. Now I think that looks better. Or not, maybe. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait a second. That doesn't look as good as I think it does. See, with lighter colors, the red line art actually looks okay. It's very sketchy line art, but I'm willing to live with it. Oh, whoops. I got an episode on it. Let me choose this color. Go back to... And then let's try that. Don't know how I feel, chat. Maybe stick with light colors. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I'm spoiled. Let's do this. I didn't even spell that right. And then let's do this. And then okay. And then let's do this. Convert to drawing color. Let's change the I just saved a version of it. I think I'm gonna stick with the black line art. It just looks so much better. You know? It just looks better. I'm sorry. That's how my skills are developed. I'm self-taught and the black line art looks better. I think you were right, Anonymous. Especially because I like to use dark colors so much. I'm a jewel tone girly. But now I need to figure out what to do with this. There are lots of things I could do. I could stick with the sunset. Or I could go with the night sky. I usually like the effect the night sky filter has on my drawings. Because he does look a lot colder here. I actually dig the darker color. Also, it's very easy to deal with. Because then if I have to clean up over here, it's not that much of a hassle. Yeah, I think I like this much better. Super honestly, I think you're right, Anonymous. I like this. I like it much better. I could make the flat color lighter, but I think that's a bit too blue. Or maybe not. Or maybe it looks just fine. Well, either way, I need to render Connie's hair real quick. And luckily, I only need to do that with a little bit. So let's get another layer. Let's use a glow layer. And then let's give his hair a slightly bluish tint here. I'm really excited because I just figured out how to do this the other day. here. And here. Here. And here. There we go. Let's go back to the glow layer and erase this. Oh, wait, nope. Cut. Oh, wait, too big. Cut, 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 cut. Let's leave those two alone. Alright. Take our soft eraser. I literally just learned how to do this, so... Okay, let's take the fingertip brush and get some of these ends here. Okay, and then we'll take our blur pen and very carefully take care of some of the edges here. God, I love glow layers. I love the glow blend mode. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. That's not true. But I do like it a lot. Because that's the best hair I've ever done. I'm usually so bad at rendering hair. Actually, I'm gonna hit it with the fingertip brush a little more, but like softer. I will say that this does make Connie's hair look a lot more silky than it actually is. Connie, when it comes right down to it, Connie honestly does not take very good care of himself. He smokes, he drinks, especially later in his life, to excess. Now we're going to take the multiply layer, and we're going to render the skin. And then, after I render the skin, we are going to do all of the blood, his split lip, and bleeding nose, and bruised knuckles. But we're going to do all that after we render the skin. Yeah, but Connie, he drinks to excess, especially later in his life. he fights constantly because it's his job. Even when the people he has been hired to fight for are literally encouraging him to stop doing it. I think this might be too dark a blue. And I'm gonna actually put it behind a layer folder, because that's gonna make me feel a lot better. Or not. Or I'm not gonna put it behind a layer folder, because layer folders hate my butt, hate my ass. From Pretty Boy Detective Club. I've actually heard of that. Is that the show that got canceled recently? Or is that an anime? Down to rendering skin, you even have to get the fingers. And I think we're gonna do this neckline too. I might erase that. We'll see how I feel about it. The arms. Do this bit here too. On the cuffs and on the side of his arms. This might be too dark, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, Kimasabi. No, the show I'm talking about getting canceled doesn't have an art style. It's a live action. Now, if you're talking about the fashion style in that show, the boys look good now. Whoever their costume designer is, dresses them very, very well. So, the goal here... Do I want... No, I don't. I want to keep this... I want to keep the soft light and the multiply layers. Skin shadows. Skin highlights. I know it's not very well looked upon, but I do want the low lights and the highlights on two different layers. So, where's my blender brush? And don't worry, I will soften this up. I will reduce the opacity. But right now... See, what'll happen is I can do a blend and the soft noise blend. Oh, no, that kind of ruins it. Let's take the soft eraser and put some space in between these two. And we'll go back with the soft noise blend. Make it smaller. That way, we can do this. pretty of the cover. Yeah, I should have made it lighter, but it'll be alright. Which manga has your favorite art style? Ooh, tricky. So, for monsters, I would go with Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. If you ever have the chance, read the manga, don't watch the anime. The anime is not very good. But the manga for the ghosts from Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation is really, really good. Terrifying. But as far as just, like, straight-up art goes, to be honest, I kind of don't know. I think I would have to go with Dungeon Meshi. I know the art for Demon Slayer is pretty good, but I sort of slogged through the last I found the last few chapters of that manga to be a bit of a slog. I won't lie. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun? I've actually never read that. I'm gonna clean this up, I promise. going kind of quiet. I'm just trying to finish this up. I'm not very good at rendering skin. It is something I just learned how to do, like, quite literally. Yeah, it's not a very well-known series at all. Yeah, it's cute, but, some of the stuff is not my style. You can sort of tell that, the original, author of Muyo and Roji's definitely worked on the original Cased Clothes manga. You can definitely tell. It's not that I don't like Cased Clothes, it's just not my usual style. It's a little more than ghost stories, to be honest. It also has, like, a lot of commentary about, like, privilege and who, and, what allows a person to succeed in society. But they do that weird trope of, like, that one wholesomely pervy guy, quote-unquote. And it's just, I don't know. He has so many other good points to his character. I don't know why they leaned hard into pervert. Do not know. Because there are so many other good things about that character that they just kind of ruin him with the hard lean into the perverted, like, into, like, the pervert hijinks, you know? Not like Mineta levels of pervert, but still annoying, you know? Alright. Now for some highlights. And that will be a soft light filter. Okay. Hang on. Having trouble figuring out... Okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my brain just then. And don't worry, it's gonna even out. It's gonna look great. Because I can't do it, because, I mean, the only way I can learn is by doing, unfortunately. I don't know much about Lucky Stars. Is it Lucky Stars? What's it called? 7 Deadly Sins, not Lucky Stars. I do know his name, though. I know that level of fan service is actually pretty legendary. Which isn't great, super honestly. But I think the thing that bothers me about that type of character is, once again, it's distracting. Like, there are other things that could be going on. We don't need to know about this character's journey to guess the cup size of the only female in the group. It's weird. And once again, just distracting. It's distracting. Some colors that are off here. Let's go back to the skin shadows. Make sure that's covered up. That's covered up. Let's go back to the highlights. That. Do something about that. And then let's smoosh it with the blur. Okay. And then one last thing. And we'll do the add glow. Never mind. Sorry, the headphones I was wearing just came off. Have you ever read or watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I used to. It's a very unique art style. Very emblematic of the time. Not my thing, but... Okay. Ooh! Too hard glow. Too hard. There we go. Once again, we are going to soften this up. I really should use the soft noise blender. There we go. Better. To be honest, I never read Jolene's. For some reason, they never distributed Jolene's when I was young. Even though a bunch of people were asking for it. But Viz never got around to it until, like, last year. Actually, no, about 3 years ago, because that happened during COVID. Alright. There we go. I think that's a very handsome man. Alright, now we have one last detail. Actually, no, we don't. There's more than one detail here. And here, we need to go back to our line art. Because now that everything's colored, I have a different... I kind of wish she wasn't the only female JoJo. It'd be kind of cool to see more female JoJos. Can we trust Araki with female characters? Okay. I feel like that's a question that I need to ask. Can we trust this particular mangaka with female characters? I think so. I feel like they're actually pretty good. Okay. Well, there's that. Actually, I'm gonna erase some of the red in his eye here with a hard eraser. Like that, yeah. So this is Connie getting revenge for a pot shot that was taken. Where's my brush? I don't need... There we go. To be honest, I should use the painterly, but I'm not gonna. Yasho Hirose from Part 9 plays a very important role in the story. He's kind of like a detective-ish call-up student who uses her stand to solve mysteries. She's more than just a love interest. She has good chemistry with the main JoJo of her 8. A weird question. Is she from the season with the cheese meme? Is Chiza in that season? Because unfortunately all I remember from JoJo's right at the moment, because my brain is spoiling, is Chiza. What do you mean? Hang on. No, it has copyrighted music in it, so I can't use it. But a while ago, I want to say Popeyes advertised a chicken pizza, a cheesa, if you will. And there is a rather tragic moment. They used an anime clip from... Okay, Caesar. That's not Chiza. He's saying Caesar. Okay. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's just... What they used was a clip from JoJo to advertise it. Maybe not Chiza, but definitely Caesar. And unfortunately... That's all I remember. Right at the moment. Okay, so there's Connie. He's not pleased. Nothing seems to be going his way at the moment. Once again, not sure if this counts as Whump. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll just say he's like in a fight club or something, I guess. Alright, now to make all the art majors mad, we're actually going to shade in black. And we're going to use a multiply layer. Actually, are we going to use a darken layer? I think we're going to use a darken layer. Use rendering and hard shadows. You know, I feel like he looks really menacing here. I hope I'm not talking too much. No, no, I'd tell you if you were. Moon's not here to cooperate, but I'm pretty direct when it comes to chatters. You're keeping the chat going, which is a good thing. Back when streaming on YouTube first became a thing, I was trying to do an Overwatch thing, and a lot of people got really out of hand. So, I usually have no qualms in telling people that they're either talking too much or they're bothering me, and I haven't told you that yet, so. Nope. That's not how that's supposed to go. I like the dark shading around the eyes. I do too. He looks very menacing. I mean, and to be fair, that's how most of the world sees him. Most of the world sees him as this very intimidating man who can and has killed to get his family what they want. You, as the reader, just happen to know the other side of him that literally just doesn't know how to do anything else. Whoops. Connie does not revel in violence much. Connie doesn't revel in violence if it's at someone else's expense. If someone wants to fight, he will fight and enjoy it. But he will not fight someone who is helpless. Now, Nate does revel in violence. But Connie doesn't revel in unnecessary... Well, he does maybe in unnecessary violence, but he is not... He is not the type of man to act out of malice. Uh-oh. Oh, it's because I have the wrong brush on. He's not very charismatic. He tends to let his sister do the talking. He also prefers not to make idle threats, either. Oh, whoops. We're almost done. How does that look? Let me see. I think I'm actually going to skip that. I think we're going to keep the hard shadow. Because then, now that I've finished drawing on this very white background, what I'm going to do is this. Oh, shit. Okay. Make the highlight a little bit brighter. Okay, what I'm gonna do is this. Oh, wait, there is one last thing I'm missing. There we go. Oh. I think he looks okay. He looks mean as hell, but I think he looks okay. We're going to also put a bit of a shine here where his lip is bleeding. Just to see if we can... No, skip that. But yeah, I think he looks good. He definitely looks like he's about to beat ass. I think I might want this a little more brown and a little less gray. Like that. There we go. I think that's a bit more gritty. But yeah, I think I'm done here. I'm not sure if this is exactly what, but he looks great, and I actually think I'm gonna keep it. Let me add just a little bit more shadow on his nose here. There we go. I think he's done. It's only 2:14, but I don't think I have time for another drawing. I got some other stuff to do. Yeah, I like how it turned out too. I don't have enough time for another drawing, but you'll see me again on Thursday. Oh, I do realize that I made a mistake. Hang on. There we go. And over here as well. There we go. So yeah, I think we're done for the day. So, yeah, you'll see me again on Thursday. I've got a few more things to do. I've got to start editing my Jackie Chan versus Arcane video, and I love that video. I'm super excited about it. I love talking about fight scenes, and I love looking at fight scenes, and I love talking about animation. So, there's that. I don't know if there's I don't think there's any other housekeeping. Expect Nerdy Prudes Must Die on Halloween, but that's everything. Once again, thank you for watching. Do no harm, take no shit, stay weird, lovelies, and happy eating.